All right, I think I am live. Let me double check. I'm on here a minute early just in case we have any technical issues. Make sure that we are showing up where we need to show up. Yep, it's showing that I am live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, everybody. We're going to give everybody a chance to come in here. Excuse me. A chance to come in, find the stream. It can take a minute or two for Facebook to kind of push it out there and let people know that I am live and that we are up and ready to go. In the meantime, as people are funneling in, I would love it if you could say hello in the comments. I want to make sure my comment section is working okay and make sure everything's working before we jump into tonight's live. Hello, Dawn. Dawn is here. All right, let's make sure that that is where it is. I need to do a quick share. All right. And I just need to share it into the event itself because I messed up. There we go. And I'm supposed to create the event as I go. Oh, it's on the live. Okay, the live is there. All right, cool. I don't have to share it. All right, hello and welcome, everybody. Pamela's here because meeting canceled. I just saw your post about that. So the replay will still be available if you want to watch the replay, but welcome. We got Dawn, Pat, Barbara, Vibhuti's here. Hi, Vibhuti. Tammy is here. I am back on StreamYard, and because we're doing this on the page, all your comments are coming through, which is fantastic. And for the first time, we're actually streaming live on YouTube tonight as well. If that floats your boat better than watching on Facebook, you can go check us out. As far as I know, we're streaming on YouTube. It says we are. So this is the first time we've actually streamed to YouTube. So very, very exciting. Like I said, we're going to get started here in about a minute. Hello, Mira and Tammy. We're going to get started here in about a minute. Again, we're giving the Facebook algorithm some time to push the live out there, get into people's news feeds. Excuse me, I do have a cough tonight. I will try to keep it at a minimum. It is going away and getting better, but all the congestion from here moved up to here. So I may have to wipe my nose from time to time. Just full disclosure, I have been fighting this sickness since November. So hopefully I feel like I'm on the road to recovery, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Carrie from Chattanooga. I'm so excited about tonight's webinar. It's a great way to end the year. I love the end of the year and I love the beginning of the year. And I've mentioned this in Handmade Sellers Club several times these last couple of weeks that I just love the new year. The new year is new opportunity, new fresh slate, new goals, new way of thinking about your business. We don't have any major holidays for a long time once we get to the new year. And it's kind of like, I always think of even winter time as being kind of that time of rest and reset. And this is, we're going to get a little bit of rest from now until New Year's. And then that New Year is that reset, that blank canvas. And I'm so excited about it. Excuse me. So Tandy says, you look more energized. Nice to see you feeling better. I'm on a lot of drugs right now to get me here. And I did not look like this earlier today. I brought my medicine with me and I took it right before going live, like an hour ago. And I was like, boy, let's hope this kicks in and that I'm good to go. So I'm so glad. Hoping for the new year. After Friday, I'm spending all next week at home, except for the extravaganza. So I'm going to mention this now. And I'll hopefully remember to mention it again at the end. But next Friday, I am actually hosting my birthday extravaganza. I'm going to grab the link for it here and drop it into the comments so you guys can check that out. The extravaganza is really just my birthday party. My birthday is December 27th. And it's my birthday, but you get the prizes. We're going to give things away. We're going to have guests come on. We're going to have Handmade Sellers Club members come on and talk about their business and how things have improved and changed for them over the year. We're going to bring on Michelle, who's been hosting the Small Shop Discovery giveaways. My friend Duncan's going to be here. My daughter Willow's going to be here. We're going to do giveaways. We're going to do Ask Me Anythings. It's going to be Q&A. We're pulling out all the stops. Normally it's like a 6-hour live. We'll see how I feel at that point. We may only go like 4 hours if my body is not cooperating. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good time. I'm going to drop now if I do that, that's one thing I'm unsure of with StreamYard is whether or not it drops the comment over here as well. I don't know that it does, so I'm just going to drop it there. Okay. So that's the link for, it did show up. So that's the link for the extravaganza. If you want to just kind of come hang out, possibly win some prizes, ask me questions, kind of hear what our plans are for the new year. We got really exciting things happening. That is going to be next Friday, the 27th. At 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a Friday evening. If you want to hang out with me on a Friday evening, that's the extravaganza. It's a great time. We've done this, I think 3 times now. We've done the extravaganza, and you don't have to stay the whole time. Just pop in and say hi when you can. Okay, so for tonight, what I've got for you guys, excuse me, I've got the 7 secrets to selling your handmade products in 2025. So the landscape going into 2025 is a bit different than it was going into 2024, which was different than 23, which was different than 22. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the differences of going into 2025, and then we're going to talk about the 7 strategies that you want to be applying in your business if you want to see maximum results in 2025. These are like my non-negotiables. These are things you need to be doing if you want to see maximum results on online sales in 2025. So this presentation tonight is for handmade sellers, people who sell a handmade product and you want to sell that product online. This is for you. Excuse me. And again, I'm going to share my 7 best strategies that you need to be using moving forward. So let's pull up the presentation here. And Michelle said, I look nice. So thank you, Michelle. I wanted to acknowledge that you said that. That's very nice of you. All right. If I do this, here we go. Okay. So 7 secrets to selling your handmade products online in 2025. So real quick introduction to me for those of you who do not know me. My name is Allie. I actually started selling handmade products in 2001, selling them online. So we were very, very early to the internet sales game. We sold handmade rabbit toys. So these are toys made for rabbits to play with. Specifically, we made toys for house rabbits. And we started this business in 2001, and I had no idea what marketing was. I had never really heard of it before. And like a lot of you, I was really struggling for the first year or 2 of like, okay, I have this product, but how do I actually find the people that are supposed to buy this product? Like, what am I supposed to do? And this was pre-Facebook. We didn't have a website. We were selling a little bit on eBay, and I just really had no idea what to do and how to grow this business. So I found my first marketing book somewhere around 2003. Never had heard of marketing before, took it home, just completely consumed the book, fell in love with it, fireworks going off in my head. And it finally clicked to me, the strategies and the roadmap for actually building a business online where you can find your customers, attract them, and sell them your product. Now, again, this was pre-social media. I mean, I'm sure MySpace was around at the time. Facebook was coming soon, but even if it had been created, nobody really knew about it. It wasn't until 2010 that I started to see the potential of social media. So Facebook had been around a little bit. I was a little bit like, I'm a naysayer, right? Like this social media thing, there's nothing to it. And one of my mentors thought that social media would be a good fit for me. And he actually bought me a ticket to a social media training in Baltimore, Maryland. And I went to that again, very skeptical, like I might be able to learn a thing or two. And I left with, again, my mind completely blown. I brought these strategies home, started using them in the rabbit toy business. And that's when things really started to take off for us. So we've been selling online since 2001. We sold that business at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of 2024. And now all I do is I help handmade sellers learn how to use the internet to build their business so that they can have a sustainable income. My husband, I quit my job in 2001. My husband quit his job in 2003. And we really had to make this thing work. I understand what it feels like to feel like I have to make this thing work, and I have to make the money. I have to pay the bills. So I put together what's called Handmade Sellers Club, which is a training platform where I teach you exactly what we did and what we've taught other handmade sellers to do in order to make sales online. So I just wanted to let you know that I do have this course. You do not need to join my course to be able to get a lot of fantastic strategies and ideas from what I'm going to be teaching you tonight. I will say, if you want to take it further, if you want the support, if you want the step-by-step training for some deeper subjects, Handmade Sellers Club is a fantastic resource. I'm very, very proud of it. And I'm very proud that that's what I get to do full time. I get to just hang out with you guys, handmade sellers, and help you see the success in your business that we were able to find in our business. Okay. So let's jump right into it. So 2025, what's different about 2025 going into the year that as handmade sellers wanting to sell online that you need to take into consideration? Number one, I think Etsy's bubble is bursting. Etsy is going downhill. Etsy search results are more and more showing drop shipped items made from China. I had one of my clients actually had her images stolen and her entire design stolen by companies in China who were then selling her exact products. It's not handmade anymore. A lot of print on demand, a lot, again, drop shipping, items made from large companies and large factories in China. And sellers are finding it more and more difficult to be successful on Etsy. Their fees have gone up. You can't opt out of certain advertising, so you get those fees stacked on top. Again, the competition is huge on Etsy. There are so many sellers, and then you're getting watered down by overseas sellers who are mass producing and can sell at a much lower rate. On top of that, I belong to several Etsy Facebook groups, and the subject that comes up over and over and over again is Etsy shut my shop down. Etsy seems to have a hair trigger on what constitutes a complete ban on their platform. And so I'm seeing time and time again, people that are making their entire living on Etsy just being out of business in the blink of an eye. So moving forward with a handmade business, while Etsy is something that I consider like gravy. It's great if it's bringing you in extra sales, but to be dependent on that platform is putting yourself in a precarious situation. Etsy has control of your business, and I made a video a while back that's like, isn't Etsy business a real business? And I say no, because you have no control over your audience. You have no control whether or not your shop is up or not. If you want to sell on Etsy, fine, but you have to have some backups in place in case Etsy brings down the hammer and decides that it just doesn't like something you have in one of your listings or how you worded something, and it's going to completely shut you down. So that is what we're looking at going into 2025. Technology is getting better. Excuse me. This is an exciting time for to be an online seller. When I first started out, I went back in my day, we had no shoes and walked uphill in the snow. Like literally, it was really difficult to create a website. Any kind of product descriptions, etc., were on your own. You didn't have the help of AI that we have now. But because this technology is getting better, it's lowering the barrier of entry for you as a seller, but it's also lowering the barrier of entry for everybody else who wants to sell a handmade product online. It is easier and easier and easier. The landscape has changed in the last 15 years from barely anybody online selling anything to everybody and their uncle has some sort of Shopify store or they're selling some sort of product online. So the technology is getting better. That's good news for you, but it's also good news for your competitors, and you need to keep that in mind as well. And with that, competition is increasing. It is super, super easy to get online and start selling. The COVID bump is over. When COVID happened, there were a lot of people that were not selling online that basically had to shut their business down because they were dependent on the in-person shows. Now that that is over for the most part, we are no longer sheltering in place and all of that. Well, let me back that up. So those that were only doing shows really had a tough time during COVID. Those who are already online and selling did fantastic during COVID. There was a huge COVID bump of people who were wanting to shop, wanting to buy things, but they couldn't go out in person, so they were buying online. Also, they were bored. They were bored with their credit card in hand, stimulus money in hand, and they were just buying. More people took up crafting, more people bought handmade products, and it really just created this huge flush of interactivity in the e-commerce world. But that's over. That's done. And we have seen even in Handmade Sellers Club that people are still having really good years, but it seems to be leveling out to what would now be a normal, right? So they were, doing okay before COVID, fantastic after COVID, but now that's starting to come down a little bit more to, okay, this is what normal looks like, and we need to build off of normal. So it was great for those of you that were able to ride that wave, but the wave has dissipated, and it's now we have to pull ourselves up and build our own momentum because we don't have that COVID momentum to build from. Same thing though, with COVID, there was that really big increase in competition because people were home. They were saying, I always wanted to have an XYZ business where I sold my crochet items or my candles or my soaps or whatever it is, or they just, discovered soap making and they come online. And so you still have those people out there. So you have more sellers competing for fewer buyers. All right. So there are challenges going into 2025 post-COVID. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do in 2025 to stand out, be found, and sell more products and create our own wave? All right, secret number one, we're just going to jump into it. Secret number one is you need to pick a product. Now, this may feel like a duh moment. Well, of course I have a product, Allie. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have something that I wanted to sell. But picking the product is something a lot of people take for granted. They assume because I have a product, I'm good, I'm fine. Now I just need to find, I just need people to buy that product. But picking the product is one of the most essential parts of your business where you really need to think about this, and you need to have a strategy when you are picking your product. Any old product isn't going to sell. We have people from time to time join Handmade Sellers Club and they're like, this is what I'm selling. Nobody's ever bought it. Nobody will actually pay for it. So tell me how to make this work. And it's a case that if your product is bad, no amount of good, or your product pick is bad. It doesn't necessarily mean your product is bad, but if your product pick or your product mix is bad, no amount of fantastic marketing, no amount of Facebook posting or any of those things is going to fix that fundamental problem. So if you're going into 2025 and you haven't really sat down and considered your product, you need to do it now. You need to do it now before we get into 2025. So the key thing when picking a product is to focus on one product line. One product line. One product line. I know this is very difficult for some of you. You like to craft and you like to do a lot of different things. But if you want to ensure that your business fails in 2025, you're going to continue to sell a little bit of everything. We have tested this over and over and over again. We did it with our own business. I've done it with countless Handmade Sellers Club members and private one-on-one clients in the past, where when we focused in and we had one clear product line, that is when success started to happen. Before that, it was a struggle to get a sale here and there. And after focusing on one product line, the doors swung open. This is what I call a little hinge that swings a big door. This is that little change and that little tweak that you make to your business that's going to swing that big door. Choose a product that people want. All right. This is, again, essential. You can do research on Etsy. You can find products that are for sale there. You can see rankings on it. You can even look on Amazon and see if people are buying products like what you have. You can even test this at shows in person and say, all right, here's my 3 or 4 items. What is it people are gravitating to? Because the easiest product to sell is something that somebody already wants. You know, they talk about like, oh, I could sell ice to an Eskimo or something like that. There's like an old saying like that. But better to sell a glass of water to a person stranded in the desert, right? If you're selling a glass of water to a person stranded in the desert, they already want it. They're already dying to have it. They already need it, you know, at that point. And so when you pick a product that people are already inclined to want it, they already know that's the thing, sort of thing that I like, it makes the sales process so much easier. And I don't know about you, but I would choose easier over harder. Who here wants to have easier marketing versus harder marketing? Raise your hand in the comments if you'd rather make your marketing easier versus harder. Choosing a product people want makes the entire sales process, the entire marketing process, so much easier. Be known for something. You know, we talk about at the farmer's market. I used to run the farmer's market here in town, and we would have the bread lady, and we would have the honey man, and we would have the towel lady, right? We had people that were known for their individual products that they sell. If somebody can't call you the XYZ person, if you're not known for something in particular, then how are people describing you to their friends and family? Oh, it's that lady at the farmer's market that, you know, has some of these and has some of that and has some of that, versus, oh, it's the honey man. Oh, I know the honey man. I saw the honey man. Right now we're communicating based on the product that you sell, and we know you based on the product that you sell. So in their mind, when they're going through Facebook and your post pops up, they should say, oh, that's the towel lady, or that's the hat lady, right? Instead of just being like, oh, that's XYZ business. All right. So be known for something. Sandy says, I'm known as the apron lady. I love that. That's exactly right. If that's how people can identify you, then your marketing just became easier. And once you pick a particular product line, now you know who your customers are. Okay. So when you're selling candles and crochet and wreaths and all of that, you know, it's easy to kind of fall into that cliche of, well, everybody's my customer. Well, I got news for you. My grandpa used to say that. I've got news for you. Everybody's not your customer. You're not Walmart. In order to succeed online, you have to talk to a very specific subset of the online universe that you can get through to and show them a product that they say, yes, that is exactly for me. And if you can't clearly identify who your customer is, then you can't go out and find them. You're not speaking their language. When you're being broad and general and a little bit of everything, then nobody knows who you are, but you don't know who your customer is either. So having that focus on one product line, I call this a unique product focus, is so important for your business. So let's look at a couple of examples. So these are examples of no unique focus. I sell home decor. I sell fashion accessories. I do sublimation on all kinds of stuff. I crochet. I sell blankets, candles, wreaths, soap, dishcloths, and more. So none of those is really that specific. So, if you're selling blankets, candles, wreaths, you're not known for any one thing. If you crochet, I invite you to ask just random people in your life, not friends and family that necessarily know who you are, but say, I crochet to them, and then ask them, what do you think my products are? So it could be amigurumi, it could be blankets, it could be festival tops, it could be doilies, it could be so many different things. Crochet is not a product. Crochet is a what's the word I'm looking for, guys? A process. Crochet is a process. Now, there are some cases where the process is unique enough that it's okay to lead with the process, but things like crochet, sublimation is another one. So I do sublimation on all kinds of stuff. That's not a product. I do all kinds of customized products. That's not enough. I do etching, glass etching. That's not enough. I don't know what your product is, because you can literally etch on almost anything. Fashion accessories, very nebulous language. What is a fashion accessory? I sell home decor. Again, I dare you to ask 10 different people to give you what the product of home decor is. And you'll get anything from wreaths to signs to tiered trays, right? To doilies. Like, you'll get anything and everything in between. And it's not very clear of what your product is. Now, here's a few examples of more clearly defined product focus. So I sell tiered tray home decor. So people who decorate with tiered trays will know that you're that person. I sell fused glass jewelry. We're adding a process with the product, right? The fused glass is the type of jewelry that I make, and then jewelry is saying, what I make out of fused glass is jewelry. So I sell fused glass jewelry. I sell house rabbit toys, right? We're very specific. We don't even like to say rabbit toys. We would say house rabbit toys. We wanted to be more specific. We wanted the person that had their rabbit as a house pet. I sell goat's milk soap. That's more specific than just soap, right? If you just say I sell soap, that's kind of generic. But goat's milk soap is more specific. I sell handmade door wreaths. I know what you sell. You can be the wreath lady, right? It tells me what you sell. Instead of home decor, it's much more specific. All right, you following? So how to narrow down? Some questions you can ask yourself. Now, I'm going to have, after this presentation, I've got all of these notes on a document, and I'm gonna make a post to have people raise their hand of who wants the document. The reason I'm waiting is I want to link to this training on that document, but all of these questions will be on there. So if you're not taking notes, then you will get this. But how to narrow down. These are some questions you can ask yourself to narrowing down for your unique product focus. So what is your biggest seller? What is the thing that sells the most? Remember, we want to sell something that people already want. What gets people the most excited? If you're setting up at vendor shows, what makes people stop and go, oh, that's cool? Or stop their friend and say, come here and look at this, right? You want to find products that get people excited. What is your most profitable product? We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a minute, but most profitable is really important, because you may have a big seller where you're making no money, So you want to find your most profitable that also sells well. Which product do you like making the most? There's time and time again, I have coached people one-on-one, and they say, well, I think I should be making X. And I say, okay, how does that feel to make X? And they're like, I really don't like it. What I really want to do is Y. And then I'll ask them some questions. They're like, yeah, Y sells and people really do like it, but I feel like I have to do X. If you're going to run a business on your own, and you are, fighting all of these battles and learning how to sell online and learning how to do the marketing, and you're going to do the hard stuff, you're going to do the boring stuff, you at least need to have some joy in what you're making. I hope you have a lot of joy in what you're making. It is not a fun business if you're making a product that you absolutely hate to make, even if it's something that people want. So you do need to find a product that you also enjoy, because that's going to get you through the hard times. What are your passions and interests? So I love this with things like sublimation, is actually finding a group of people that you can make products for. We had a woman years ago in the program that sold keychains and hats, and it was a variety of products, but it was all to people who play pickleball, right? So instead of saying I can put anything on anything, she said, I'm going to put pickleball stuff on everything. Now that calls out to her core audience, right? It's pickleball merch. It's pickleball merch. And at the time, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, pickleball was really starting to gain momentum. I didn't know what it was when she came out. She's like, oh, I sell products for people who play pickleball. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Now it's a lot more well known. Some people still may not know what it is, but people who play pickleball are really passionate about it. And this girl played pickleball, and she's like, I love it. I have a lot of fun with it. And she wanted keychains and hats and t-shirts and all of that. So she started making products like that. So thinking about the interests and passions that you have can help you take a product where you could make almost anything and instead make a bunch of things for people in a very specific niche interest. And then you research and test. You can research again on Etsy, you can research on Amazon and test it. Get it out into the market, get in front of your ideal customer and see how they react to the products that you have created. Okay. Secret number 2, if you're going to survive in 2025, if you're going to build a profitable business in 2025 that can actually pay the bills or take you on vacation or whatever it is you're doing this business for, whatever your big why is, you need to price for profit. Because the definition of a business, I don't have like the Webster's definition in front of me, but you're selling a product or service for money in exchange. And that money then pays you so that you can go and live your life. And over again, I see handmade sellers underpricing their product to the point where what they're doing is almost like a charity. Like they're barely able to just buy back the materials that they used to make more stuff. And that's fine if you want to do this as a hobby and it's just fun and you don't care if you make any money from it. You just need to keep busy. That's perfectly fine. But if you actually have goals and you have plans for that money that you're making, and your purpose of building a business is to actually make money, then you have to price your products for profit. It is essential for a healthy business. Sick businesses do not survive. They get picked off. When you are in a hyper competitive arena like we are in now, and we are walking into in 2025, when you're in a hyper competitive arena like this, sick businesses are going to be the ones that fall first. If you want a healthy business, you have to make sure there is enough income coming in to keep your business healthy. Think of it as like food, right? The more food you feed your business, the healthier it is, the stronger it is, and the more it can withstand the ups and downs in the marketplace. A sick business, one little change, one little hiccup can completely demolish a sick business. And a sick business is usually an underfed business. There is not enough revenue coming through that business to keep the business healthy and happy. You are your biggest bottleneck in your business. We are not like the AC companies or plumbers or whomever out there who can grow and expand their business by hiring additional employees. The business isn't completely dependent on them. They can go on vacation, etc. With your handmade product business, most of you do not have plans for hiring. And if you do, great. But most of us are doing this because it's something that we enjoy doing. We want to actually make the product, but you can only make so much product in a day. You are literally limited to how much product you can make each day. And so you are your biggest bottleneck. And if you can only make 5 products a day and you underprice those products, you're going to have to sell more product to even get close to bringing in enough money for you and your business. If you price your products appropriately, then you can comfortably make those 5 products per day and know that you are in a profit and you don't have to work 24/7 and you don't have to go without sleep and you don't have to sacrifice yourself to your customers. Okay? So, but because this is a handmade business model, we cannot be the bottom of the barrel. We cannot have the cheapest products because we are not factories in China. We are not able to leverage our product as much as some other businesses can. So a fair price is fair for both parties, meaning it's the customer thinks it's fair because they see the quality and the value and they appreciate the quality and value in the product, but it's also fair for you. I get that pushback a lot, like, well, I want my prices to be good. I want it to be fair to people. And when we break it down and realize how little the business owner is getting paid, I'm like, at what point is this fair to you? Every business is out to make a profit. That is the point of owning a business. And so fair to you means you've got to make a profit. You have to make a profit. And you have to make a profit that allows you to live your life and your lifestyle. Now, for some of you, this may mean you have to do something a little bit different with your product, or you may need an entirely different product. Remember, one of the things I talked about with picking your product is, pick a product that's profitable. And if the product that you have, if you say, I absolutely could never charge more than what I'm charging and I'm not getting paid enough, then you have a business that's built from the get-go to fail. You have to price fairly for both parties, you and your business, or your business and your customers. So if you want to survive, raise your prices. If you want to survive, raise your prices. If you want to survive, raise your prices. Terry said, finding people who value quality over price is difficult. Yes and no, Terry. It can be difficult in some arenas, but everything that I'm going to be talking about after this portion also raises perceived value. The rest of these secrets that I'm going to be sharing with you raises perceived value. Oftentimes, people don't value your product because you have not adequately communicated the value that they're getting in return. Okay? So you have to communicate the value that they're getting in return, and they have to understand that value and they have to value that value, right? So just spending time on something does not make it valuable in the eyes of your customer. Spend time to do intricate detail that your customer then is blown away by, adds that value that you can ask the prices that you want. If you can't build the value in, if you can't communicate the value of a product, if there's no value in the eye of the consumer, you're not going to be able to raise your prices, but you're also going to have an unhealthy business and you're not going to make a profit. All right, so we're going to go through price for profit, how to figure out prices. Sandy says, if I've already found the fair price, should I still raise it? If the market, fair is what the market will fair, the bare minimum for fair. And that's kind of what we're going to go through right now. The bare minimum for fair is you're making a profit. If the market will handle prices that are higher, then it is your job to find that highest price the market will bear, because that is how you make more money, because you can't physically make more product. So the only way to grow with a handmade business when you have the bottleneck of you and you don't have extra help is to raise your prices. So yes, find out that top level price that you can charge for that and still make enough money. Brian, I don't know if Brian's on tonight. He was selling cribbage boards for, I think, $35 a piece. He now sells them for $90. Maybe he was at $40. But he sells them at $90 now. He's selling twice as many as he was before at twice the price. Now he's able to handle the twice as many, but just because he picked a unique product focus, his sales went up, doubled his price. He's had LASIK surgery. He started an investment fund. He goes to the Minnesota Twins games and goes to their parties every year. He takes a month off for vacation. That is what you need to do. You need to price for what the market will bear and make as much profit per piece as possible if you want to live that lifestyle too. All right, so this is the formula. Joyce said, how do we figure that fair price? This is the basic formula. Now in Handmade Sellers Club, I do have a calculator for going more into the nitty gritty, and I go much further in depth for the pricing for profit. We get past mindset issues people have for pricing. What do you do if you're in a low income area? All of that stuff. There is more training in Handmade Sellers Club for that. It's phenomenal training. But we also talk about how to find that base level price that you need to be paid. It's basically what I'm going to show you, but it's not, there's some details that I could go for an hour talking about that. So if you want to go deeper into this, I recommend Handmade Sellers Club for that and using the pricing calculator. But this is at least going to help you figure out what you're getting paid now. Okay. So you can be clear about whether or not your product is sustainable. So number one, find the current price of your product. All right. Current price of product. I'm going to show this in numbers too here in a minute. So it's going to be abstract and then we're going to get more detailed. Then you're going to subtract the cost of materials, the actual cost of the items that it takes to make it. I always get the question, what if I get the items on sale? Do the real price of the product because you don't know that you'll always get it on sale. So subtract the cost of materials from the current product price. Then separately, I want you to add the time that it takes to make that product. Here I had 2 hours. I meant to ignore where it says 2 hours. I meant to edit that out. So add time to make the product. How much time does it take you to make that product? A lot of you guys have not calculated this. And this is so very important. If you want to make a profit, you need to know how long it takes you to make your product. So add that time to the time it takes you to market your products. Again, ignore the 4 hours. I do a formula on the next slide, and I didn't use those numbers. I just totally missed it. So this is where I see most pricing formulas get it wrong. They say, the time to make your product, the cost of materials, all of that, but they don't look at the time to market your product and or to run your business. So because you are your biggest bottleneck, every minute you spend posting on Facebook, every minute you spend uploading your product to a website, every minute you spend doing your book work, every minute you spend going out and purchasing supplies, you are not making product. And if you had to hire somebody to do those roles, guess what? It would cost you money. It is a income producing activity that you are engaged in. But when you are only counting the time to make your product, then you are not paying yourself for all the other time it is that you're spending to market your business. Now, I generally figure, as a general rule, we look at doubling the time it takes you to make your product will give you, so that's why we're adding the time to make the product. Just take that time. So let's say it's 2 hours. Add that to your marketing time. That would be 4 hours. So we're doubling the time that it takes to make the product in order to account for all the rest of the time. Now, there are caveats to this. If you have very large items that take long amounts of time and you're at very high ticket, we might spend a little less time marketing. It wouldn't be 8 hours of marketing necessarily. It can be. But anything that's like $100 or less, you figure about half of your time that you're spending in your business is doing non-making the stuff. And what this also does is gives you the time to do the non-making stuff because you're getting paid for that time, right? Because you're getting paid for that time, you don't feel like you have to squeeze that stuff out in order to make more product, because otherwise, how am I going to pay the bills? Okay, so we need to count this time. And then you're going to divide the net by the hours. So the net price is current product price minus materials. So you're going to take that number, current product price minus materials, and divide that by how many hours you are making your product and marketing your product. So let's look at a real example here. And then that's going to tell you what you're getting paid per hour. We've had people go through the calculator and realize they're getting paid $1 an hour. Now, can you live on $1 an hour? Do you feel like you are being compensated as an artist for $1 an hour? Even if you didn't figure in your marketing time, then you're at $2 an hour. Is that good? No, it's not. It's not good at all. So this is going to give you that, I'm hoping, a wake-up call. So you can at least look at the products that you have currently and say, oh crap, I'm way underpriced and I'm not getting paid anywhere near what I should be in order to be sustainable. So we are looking at price for profit, $20 price minus $5 for actual materials. So we have a $20 product. We're going to take away the $5 worth of materials. That is $15 net income. It takes 1 hour to make it, takes 1 hour to market it. $15 divided by 2 hours is $7.50. Now, what this does not include is things like taxes. This is also your pay. This isn't profit. This is just pay. We are looking at, we got a spammer. Where's he at on Facebook? Hold on. Let's kick this guy out of here. He was in my, everybody ignore this guy. Let's see. I need to block him. Ban Andy. All right. So hopefully that takes care of that. He found his way into the Vendor Success Secrets group before. And yeah. All right. So hopefully, let me know if he's still coming through. So this does not count your taxes, subscription costs, like to pay for your website, to be an HSC member, anything that you're paying out for your business beyond your materials, your tools. This doesn't count your profit. This is just strictly what you're getting, what you're making per product. This is $7.50 an hour. By the time you pay taxes on this, it's less. By the time you pay subscription costs. So we figure that all in with the calculator. That's why I said the calculator, I highly recommend the calculator because we're figuring in the taxes, the profits, what you're getting paid, all of that good stuff. Now, Sandy says, to me, price depends on the area you are living in. My sister in Minnesota could sell my product much higher than I am in mid-Missouri. I love this comment because you are right and wrong at the same time. So yes, if you're selling locally, it does depend on your area. What I'm teaching here is how to sell online, but you should definitely be taking this pricing model and applying it to your in-person sales because it applies just as much there. You have the time to set up your table, the cost of the venue, your table cost, your gas, all of the things that go into that. Now, you're right. Yes, maybe she can sell it higher in Minnesota than mid-Missouri. But if you're only making $5 an hour and you can't live on $5 an hour and you feel I have to sell it at, let's say it's $7.50. I have to sell it at $20 because mid-Missouri won't pay more than $20, but I literally can't live on $7.50 an hour. Then you need a new product or you need to be focusing on online sales. You need a product that either has higher profit or raise the price of this product and sell it online. because no amount of my area won't pay for this pays your bills. Right? You can't put gas in your car based on, well, people in my area simply won't pay this price. This is why we sell online, is because we can sell to people in California, people in North Carolina and New York, and all these places that have a lot more money in their pockets and willing to pay our prices. I live in a Rust Belt area. It's definitely a more depressed area. We were just in Miami. What they charged in Miami is not the same as what they charge here in Sandusky, and we paid it in Miami. But they also have higher costs in Miami, so they need to have their prices higher. But people are used to paying higher prices there. So you do not sacrifice yourself to your low income area. If you cannot make a profit on that product to the customer that you're selling to, then you need to rethink your business model, because your business model is not working for you. Pam says that was a huge wake up for me. I am so happy. And Sandy said, good point. Yes. So yes and no. You still need to make a living. So if you can't sell it at $30, to make more of a profit, or $35, then it's not a viable business. It's just not a viable business. All right. Secret number 3, get found. So when you're online, it is easy to be lost. Nobody finds you. Customers don't know where you are. What do we do, right? How do we get found? This is where social media comes in. And I see a lot of people putting a lot of energy into a website versus their social media. And the exact opposite is what you need to be doing. You need to focus on your social media first, because social media is where the people are. This was the difference for us when we first discovered Facebook and learned how to sell on Facebook. We got on the social media and I was like, oh, my people are here. And if I post here, they're going to see things. And if I post in groups, I'm going to find them. If I run ads, I'm going to find them. I can find my people there. The most important thing you need with online sales is customers. You need customers. And so if you put all of that energy into building a website, the website is literally like a lemonade stand in the middle of a cornfield in the middle of Iowa, right? Nobody knows that you're there. Nobody's just walking by and saying, oh, let me buy some lemonade over here. Yes, you can do some SEO, but that is a long-term, long game. It can be 6 months before you ever get listed for anything of value on Google. But we can get in front of our ideal customer on social media today. And you can make sales without a website. A lot of my clients come in and have no website, and they don't have a website for a year. We've had people making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month with no website. You simply invoice people through Square or PayPal. You don't need a website right away. In 2025, we all have less time. We all have less energy, right? There's so many things we have to do in our life. So the work we do needs to be the work that is going to be that little hinge that swings a big door, that's going to have the most impact. And starting out on social media and getting your products in front of the right customer is step number 1. When you have a strong customer base, a strong, unique product focus, and people are finding you and you're making sales and you've got a good handle on what your business is, that's when you start building a website, and not a minute before. Now, some of you guys already have websites. That's fine. Don't worry about your website right now. Worry about social media, because if you don't get found, then you're just putting in a lot of work for nothing happening in return. Now, some of you have done a lot of work on social media and not getting found. I hear you on that, and we're going to talk about that. But social media is built to create those connections and to help businesses be found. Pick a platform and perfect it. So with social media, you want to pick a platform and get really, really good at it. Pick a platform and get really, really good at it. It is really tempting to be on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Threads and X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it these days. It is really tempting to go out and do all of those things, but each one of them has its own ecosystem. It has its own culture. It has its own best practices. And when you're just kind of like dabbling in each, you're not really going to make an impact on any one of them. So pick one and get really, really good at interacting on that platform, finding your customers, and focusing your energies there. Now, I'm a little partial, but I say Facebook is still king. I recommend that people start with Facebook because that is where most people are, and that is where most people who buy handmade products are. Instagram is great, but Instagram is going through some things. And Instagram requires a much more skilled hand. Facebook, you can be 50% of the way there and still do really, really well on Facebook. Instagram, you've got to show up and just about be perfect. It's everything is perception on Instagram. TikTok, you've got to be really, really great at short form video and just like nail it because there's so much competition there. Facebook, you're able to use all of these different strategies, using photos, using video, using text. And you can be a little rough around the edges with it and still have a really great result. People are a lot more forgiving on Facebook. There's a lot more scrappy looking content on Facebook, and Facebook feels a bit more real and less polished than some of these other platforms. So I recommend getting on Facebook and just killing it on Facebook. Really getting into the platform, understanding how it works, understanding the culture there, understanding how to find people on Facebook. And of course, I do teach that in Handmade Sellers Club. My super seller system is all about Facebook, how to sell on Facebook. That is what I recommend. That being said, in 2025, we've talked about this a lot in 2024 in Handmade Sellers Club. Short form video is a great way to get found on Facebook in 2025. So a few things you need to know about social media, and this applies to Facebook. Not every action that you take on social media gets you found by other people. For instance, stories usually only go to your followers. So stories are great. I think they're fantastic, but they're really just reinforcing your relationship with your followers. That's great. Posts are mostly for your followers. They can get shared and people can get tagged and Facebook can recommend them, but the vast majority of people seeing your posts are your own followers. Short form video or reels on Facebook gets distributed out beyond your followers. Yes, to your followers, but out beyond them. So it's a great way to get found on social media, on Facebook specifically, going into 2025. And the opportunity is still huge on Facebook because short form video is getting more popular. More and more people are watching short form video, but most of the short form video content creators are on other platforms. So Facebook has a problem where they have a lot of watchers, but not a lot of content to give out to them. So you have bigger opportunities on Facebook at this time. This was true in 2024. I think it's still true going into 2025, that you have a lot more opportunities to go viral, to get large viewership on your videos when you use short video on Facebook. So many of you may be saying like, hey, how do you do short video? Like what do I post about on Facebook for reels? And we're going to talk about that here. Barbara says, do you recommend a Facebook page, group, or your personal page? Facebook page, Facebook business page, Facebook business page, Facebook business page. Michelle King says Facebook is king. I love that. So Facebook business page, same to you, Deborah, Facebook business page. It's not on Marketplace. It's not on your personal page. You're going to use a Facebook business page. And on that Facebook business page, you are going to create and distribute reels. And reels are these short form videos. I think they're 90 seconds now on Facebook. Every platform keeps changing and it's hard to keep track. They were 60 seconds or less. Now I think they're 90 seconds or less, unless they've upped it again, which everybody's been doing. TikTok used to be 15 seconds. Now it's like 15 minutes. But a reel is a short video that then gets distributed into this reel. It's kind of like a Reels news feed that people can sit and watch. Like my husband watches Facebook Reels. I tend to watch him on Instagram. He tends to watch him on Facebook. and you just click the Reels tab, and then you're just flipping through videos and watching Reels, much like TikTok. So some Reels ideas for handmade sellers like you. You can do a video of your product with voiceover. That's one of my favorites, where you just show and tell. You just show your product and talk about it. You can do a how it's made video with voiceover, where you're talking about, first I did this, then I did that, and voila, here is the product. You can do a clip from a live. So if you're doing Facebook Lives, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute, if you're doing Facebook Lives, you can do little clips from your lives. You can do a video of you with your product answering a frequently asked question. So you can be in the video yourself, where video of product is more you holding the product, or not necessarily you in the frame, but video of you with the product is you in the video holding your product and saying, I get this question a lot about this product, or here's why I make this product. So tell a story. You can demonstrate your product. When you're in the video with your product, you can demonstrate, you can tell a story, you can answer frequently asked questions. Watch other people's Reels and TikToks. And this is where I would actually go to Instagram and follow some Instagram hashtags for like handmade businesses. Because I do see that the Instagram Reels for handmade products tend to do pretty well, and TikTok does pretty well as well. It's harder to find them. If you're doing market research, it's harder to find them on Facebook. Not that your customers aren't going to see yours, but it's harder to find other people that are doing short form video. But just watch and see what connects with you. What are other people doing that you say, that made me really curious about the product, or that made me want to know more, or it made me want to click their bio, or it made me want to comment, or it just made me want to buy it. That is a great way to come up with content for your products, is just studying and paying attention to what other people are doing as well, because this is constantly shifting and changing. There are trends that come up that are fun ways to feature a product. That it's almost impossible for us to keep up with and tell you, hey, this trend is happening. But if you're watching Reels and TikToks yourself, then you can start to see those trends and things that are happening and say, oh, that's something I could do for my business as well. Nikki says, thoughts on YouTube. YouTube is not necessarily a good place for a handmade seller to sell handmade products. YouTube is fantastic for somebody who is selling patterns or selling like how-to information. Not great for handmade products. Also, if I miss your question, usually I hold the questions to the end, but these are great questions, so I'm grabbing them. But if I miss your question, there will be time for Q&A at the end. All right, number 4, build a tribe. So we have a social media platform, but a social media platform does not a tribe build. You have the tools, but you actually have to build the community on that tool. You have to build a relationship with your followers. The choices for people to buy are endless. They can buy from Walmart. I talk about this with jewelry all the time. You make handmade jewelry, but the choice for the consumer is anything from the Dollar Tree to Tiffany's, right? And everything in between. And the choices are absolutely endless. You sell candles, I can buy them at the Dollar Tree all the way up to the most expensive Yankee candles. Those aren't even expensive anymore, but like the most expensive high-end candles and everything in between. So choices for the consumer, they've never had more choices before in their life. Every minute that goes by, there are more choices for consumers, not less. So you need to be able to stand out from the competition. And the way that you do that is you actually bring them into your world and you develop a relationship with them. If you are attempting to sell your products online and you think that just setting the product out there and sitting behind a curtain and hoping and praying somebody finds you and buys it is a good strategy for selling online, well, I've got news for you. It is not. They're not going to find you. They're not going to choose you unless they have a really good reason to. So if you're especially in a highly competitive market, something like jewelry or candles, you should definitely be looking at niching down and finding unique ways to present that product to the marketplace. But you also need to build a tribe. You need to build a relationship with your audience so they look at you and say, man, I love what they do. I think she's so funny. I think they're so cool. I love seeing the whole process. And you end up with fans. right? It is easy to sell to fans. It's really difficult to sell to perfect strangers, right? It's even easier to sell to friends and family. Like if a little kid wants to sell a trinket and they want to sell it to grandma, they can charge $20 for it. That's easy because there's a strong relationship there. So the stronger relationship, the higher your prices can be, and the more sales that you're going to make because they love you. So people will buy you, which means you as a person, as a personality, need to show through and show up in your business. We cannot be nameless and faceless like Walmart and all the big box stores. That is not going to work for us because we don't have the ad budget to make up for the lack of personality that those companies have. The charm of shopping in a downtown area is buying the coffee from the lady who started the coffee shop, right? And having those conversations. That is the game that we are playing. And that is where we compete, where the big guys cannot compete. They have to hire spokespeople, right? Fake faces to put on their business. They can't compete with a real person that connects to their real customers. That is your competitive advantage. And so 2025, moving into 2025, you need to show up in your business. You can no longer hide behind your brand. You can no longer hide behind your product. Your brand is you. Your product is you. You need to be in your business. This builds know, like, and trust. They get to know you. They get to like you. They get to trust you. And when that next birthday comes around or the holiday season comes around or the next product that you post that they're like, you know what? I just have to have one of those. I just like her so much. I just like that person so much. And you don't have to be super like over the top friendly. You just need to show up and show your personality, and different people will connect with different kinds of people. Not everybody is your people. So the people that think that your personality, that maybe have a similar personality to you, are going to say, oh, I love that person, because they see themselves in you. So showing up as a real, true, authentic person is going to make you more sales. The more you show up as you and you use the engagement and the algorithm, the more you show up as you, the more engagement you're going to get, and the more the algorithm is going to love you. So it not only gets your customers to buy more from you, it gets them seeing more of your content. The algorithm works in your favor. You attract new people to your page. You build relationships with them. People are tagging, people are sharing. You always see people on posts saying, oh, please tag and share. What if you didn't have to ask them to tag and share? Like, tagging and sharing is almost an admission of, I need to ask you to do this because you're not already doing this. Why are they not doing it? Because they're not into your content. They're just not into your content. So the way we really build this tribe is through power posts. And this is a cornerstone of what I teach in Handmade Sellers Club. We have the Prompts for Profits calendar, which are daily posts that you make to your Facebook page that build that know, like, and trust. It gets you that engagement, gets the algorithm working for you, also creates desire and stokes desire for your product. And it gets you in front of your audience on a consistent basis to where they know you by first name. They know what you look like, and they're always stopping and looking at your posts. So I'm going to share 3 posts that really are great for engagement and building that know, like, and trust. These are examples from other sellers. 3 power posts. Share your story. I love, love, love sharing your story. This is Nicole from Collins Custom Design. She talks about a flashback to when I worked as a bench jeweler at a local jewelry store. I worked there for just shy of 20 years. So she is sharing her story, a little bit about her. So she sells a higher end handmade jewelry product. She's making everything by hand. She's not stringing beads. She's like literally pounding out the metal using blow torches, welding, the whole 9 yards. So she has a product that has a higher price point. It's really important for her to show that she has this experience. She's been doing this for 20 years. It's important for her to connect with people on that personal level, so that they feel comfortable. They have that know, like, and trust going in and spending $250 on a jewelry piece. So that's one example, is posts that share your story and about you Why did you open this business? Why did you pick the product that you did? What do you love about your business? Sharing your own story. Number 2, I love this one, is the behind the scenes. People love to see the behind the scenes. This is an example from Shepherd Candle Company, just showing the workspace and then talking about how they grew from doing it one way and now doing it another way, and how she thought it was going to be easy and it wasn't. So this is kind of both of sharing behind the scenes and a bit of her story. But showing people like your tools and your workspace and all the packages that you have piled up ready to ship, and you know, what your hands look like at the end of the day. You got paint all over your hands. Showing the behind the scenes helps to build that relationship and make people follow along wanting to know more. Now, when we talk about engagement, a great engagement kind of post that you can do is a pick your favorite post. This is an example from Brian with Lightning Art Cribbage Boards. This is a pick your favorite. Which one of these 4 do you like the best? People love giving their opinion, especially when they have an opinion about something, right? So in this case, I would say the walleye. I'm from Lake Erie. Walleye is huge. I'm from Lake Erie. I live on Lake Erie. Walleye is huge. That's something that's like a symbol of our town. So I would say walleye. I would jump in there and say B. Excuse me. So this gets people in and having a conversation with you. So they come in and they say, well, I like B, walleye. And then he comes in and he responds with something like, good choice. I'm from Minnesota too. And I also have a Minnesota cribbage board. So he's now having conversations with his audience in the comments section. Part of building that know, like, and trust, and building that tribe and building that relationship is actually responding to people and having that back and forth conversation. Not only does your customer love it, but the algorithm loves it too. Now, these are just 3 out of like 200 different prompts that I have for Handmade Sellers. And we publish a calendar every single month in Handmade Sellers Club called Prompts for Profits Calendar. And it just tells you exactly what to post every single day. There's a prompt there and it says, tell a story about this and use this kind of picture with it. And the prompts are designed for specifically this: building your tribe, getting them engaged, building the know, like, and trust, and getting them to actually just absolutely love you and your products, which leads to them purchasing. Okay. The mistake is to try to get them to the purchase without all of this work in the front end. But when it comes to online sales, we're not at a vendor show with online sales. It is not the same. And in a vendor show, you are doing those things. You're building a relationship. You're talking to people. You're interacting with them, right? We can't lose that piece when it comes to online sales. So you've got to put the legwork in on the front end if you want to make sales on the back end. Joyce says, I don't have a website or an online personality. You don't need a website. You can invoice for any product. And if you don't have a personality online right now, then you just start today. Like, literally tell your story. We got another person that does not have a lot of friends in their real life that feels like you need. Hold on. Now I can't find them. Maybe already canceled. Facebook might have kicked them off for calling me names. Let's see. And Carrie says, I don't have a personality. So your personality is just you. It's just you. It doesn't have to be flamboyant. It doesn't have to be out of this world. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's just you. It's just you showing up as you. Okay. You don't have to pretend to be somebody else. You just show up as you. And if you're a little dry, then be a little dry. If you've got a weird, quirky sense of humor, then show it. If you have no sense of humor, then just go on and say, I have no sense of humor. Just show people who you are, because that's what they resonate with and that's what they connect with. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having the perfect personality. It's about being real. Dawn says, I never thought I did either, but I have some amazing followers. When you show up, they show up. And Nikki said, be yourself. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. The consumers today are tired of flat and they're tired of the lack of personal touch in business. You know, being treated like a number, being treated like just a dollar sign, right? So when you show up as yourself, it's a relief to them. It's why we enjoy, again, the downtown shopping or farmers market shopping. So we get to meet people and smile at them and talk to them and learn something and engage with them. And even if their personality isn't like crazy over the top, you'd be like, that was a really nice person. I really enjoyed learning that. That was a great story that they had. All right. We're running out of time here. Secret number 5, fantastic photos. It is 2025. Everybody here should have a smartphone. Everybody here should have a smartphone. If you do not have a smartphone, get a smartphone. And smartphones these days take fantastic photos. Well, back in my day, in 2001, first starting out, I literally had a camera that you stick the floppy disk inside of it in order to like get the pictures on the camera, because I couldn't understand how to connect, how a cord could get the pictures onto my computer. Like I was not technologically savvy at all. And I've learned it because my business is important. I've learned these things. We went through many, many years with really bad photos because the technology hadn't caught up and there was such a steep learning curve in taking great photos. These days, our phones can do so much. We do have training in HSC that talks about how to set up your lighting and all of that. That's a lot for me to cover right now. But that training is in there. And then my daughter Willow has started hosting a call a month in HSC just to talk about photography and photos and how to take better photos and how to edit your photos. Because here's the thing, guys, your photos are ads for your product. We're not at a vendor show. They can't walk up to your table and pick up the product and look at it. They can't look at it in different lighting. They can't hold it up to themselves. They can't touch it, right? So we need to show as much detail and create as much desire with our photos as humanly possible, as humanly possible. And so fantastic photos is the default. You need to have great photos, because if you have a great product, but your photos are dark and blurry, nobody can tell your product is great. Nobody can see how it shines and sparkles if there's a giant shadow that goes across it. So photos are ads for your product. You need to take fantastic photos. If you want people to stop their scroll and say, wow, and I have to have that, the product itself has to look good. And that comes from taking good photos. Make them say, wow. Wows sell. Wows sell. A wow sells. Real quick tip on all of this. I can't get into lighting and all that, but when you are taking photos from your phone, set up your phone to a 1-to-1 ratio. You can change from it taking a long, what they call portrait style, 9-to-16 or 16-to-9. I don't remember which way it goes, to taking a square photo. The square photos do not get cut off in weird ways on Facebook. They show up fine on mobile. They show up fine on Facebook. They show up fine on Instagram. If you are sharing your stuff over to Instagram and you are doing that, if you're using them from your website, square photos work on pretty much every platform. So take square photos, 1-to-1 ratio. Now, there are free 3 photo styles that I want you to be thinking about when you're taking photos of your product. Number 1 is the plain background. So you can do, hold on here. So you can do a plain background on with your products, just to highlight the product itself. Now, this should be the least amount used on social media. So these can be used on social media, but they need to be the minority. The other 2 photo styles are going to work much better on social media than these 2. These are great for your website. But if you're going to take website photos or you're going to take photos with plain background for other purposes, you can use them on social media as well. So you see on the right is one of our rabbit toys. We did those on a plain white background because we used to sell on Amazon, and Amazon required that products be photographed on a plain white background. It worked really well for our website because it made the product pop. Now, this particular picture doesn't do really well on our social media when we would post it to social media. But it did allow us to create like a graphic. If we were having a sale, we could create a graphic with this item. I don't recommend a lot of graphics for like 95% of the posts. The images you should be using on social media should just be plain pictures and not all Canva'd up. But if you need to put something in Canva, you can use something with this plain background. The blue background is a little bit warmer. That I would use on social media because it does feel a little bit warmer. It does feel more inviting. It's not quite as stark. And a plain background is nice because the product is the only focus. There's nothing there that could even remotely distract anybody. So it's a good place to start. It's a good place to start and practice taking really great photos. And then you can try out these other photo types as well. The next photo type is staged photos. The one on the right is a little bit more professionally staged. You can tell the lighting. There was really a lot of detail put into the lighting, the way it's in the box. It almost feels like I picked it up and I lifted the lid off the box. Anytime that you can create a staged photo where they feel like they're interacting with the product in the way they would in real life helps kind of cross that barrier of we're online and not in person. So I really love that one on the right. I think it's very beautiful. The one on the left is for this draining mat here. Now this one's a little bit busy. It kind of draws the eye away. I would love to see something like this while this works. And it's kind of like what I would call an in the wild sort of photo, like it's actually being used for its intent. For staging purposes, I would find a little bit more of a less busy background than this countertop. You could still have, the cup and the dishes on it, and maybe have, like the paper towels in the back. That's fine, but we can see the trash can. So there's some things here that are distracting, and that's most important thing to remember when you're doing staged photos is you want to make sure that when the customer sees it, they recognize that that is what they're supposed to be looking at, that they're supposed to be looking at your product. So in this case, would they know to look at the drying mat? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes the dishes are drawing more of the attention and it's less clear than what we're supposed to be looking at is the drying mat. So don't get too crazy with your staged photos where you're adding so many accessories to your picture that we can't tell what it is we're supposed to be looking at. Okay. Excuse me. So yes, stage your photos, show how it can be used, mimic it coming out of the box, bring other materials nearby the product that help communicate what it is. I know for Willow was doing some photo critiques in Handmade Sellers Club, and somebody had watermelon shampoo or watermelon soap, and they were trying to stage it with something like watermelon, but like putting watermelon in it was a little too obvious. So Willow was talking about taking watermelon seeds and kind of putting it around and using a particular kind of background. So being a little subtle with it, that it helps with the communication, but it doesn't distract from the main image, which is your product. And then selfies with product. This is by far my favorite. I almost feel like this could be more than 50% of your posts could be selfies with product, because this is where you bring the you in, right? Even if you feel like you don't have a personality, you're looking at these two smiling faces and you get a sense of the people behind the product just by seeing their face. Again, think of a vendor show. You're talking to somebody across the table. You're not hiding behind a curtain with a tin out saying, drop your money here. You know that standing up and greeting somebody and looking at them and talking to them is what makes them comfortable and gets them asking questions and looking at your product. So selfie with a product is a great, great way to show off your product and show you too. And for some reason, the lighting always seems to be better. I see people that struggle with product photos and staging, and the lighting is always off, but they take a selfie of themselves with the product, and the product comes through really, really nicely. So these are just two examples. I like the one with Priscilla here too. It kind of shows the scale of the product that she's showing. And that's the other thing. It shows scale. It shows what it looks like in human hands, which again allows the customer to imagine what it would look like in their home, what it would look like if they were holding it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if Susan was selling earrings here, obviously she's got the bag up, but if she was selling earrings, sometimes doing a selfie where you're wearing the product, we can't tell that that's what you're trying to show us because you just look like a normal person wearing earrings. She's holding up a bag. We can tell what she's trying to highlight. So even if you sell jewelry, you can do some pictures of you wearing it, but it actually works better if you hold up the jewelry and show it to the camera with your face in the picture, because the customer understands better what it is you're trying to show them. All right. Secret number 6, go live. Again, 2025, we're trying to build relationships. We're trying to build a tribe. We are trying to show up in people's newsfeed in unique and novel ways so that we can cut through the noise and really stand out. And going live is a great, great way to do that. And if you're terrified to go live, I hear you. As a Handmade Sellers Club member, we do challenges every single month. And 3 times a year, we actually do a live challenge in a private Facebook group where you can practice going live and get over the nerves and learn how the technology works so that you can go live consistently. I have had people say there's no way I will ever go live ever, who now go live on a weekly basis or monthly basis. So if any of you are listening now and you've been through that challenge and you are now more comfortable going live, or you're going live consistently, or even more, you love it now, comment so other people can see that there is hope. There is hope for them, even if you're scared to go live. There is hope. You can get over that fear and you can actually learn to love it. I was afraid to go live the first time I went live, but I just kind of sucked it up and did it. And I have not looked back since. I still get nervous from time to time, but it is a lot of fun. And it's a great way to connect with people. Just like I'm doing this live here tonight. While my face isn't in it right now, it was at the beginning. I will show my face again at the end. And so that you guys can see me and see how I talk and get a sense of me and decide whether or not I'm your kind of person, right? And that's what you can accomplish with a live. It builds the know, like, and trust. It lets people really know who you are. When you are in video, they get a sense of who you are as a person, and that creates that connection. It's a great way as a 3-dimensional product highlight. You can pick up a product, move it around, talk about it, unzip it, open it, show them the inside, show them the pockets, show them the backside, and they get a full view of the product that is really difficult to do in images. You become a celebrity. I don't know how many people, members of HSC, have people reach out to them and say, "Oh my gosh, I saw you on video. You're like all over the place. You're like a mini celebrity." Going live, I mean, I know people kind of like get nervous when they meet me in person. We do a retreat once a year, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so nervous," because they feel like I'm some sort of celebrity because I'm going live. This technology is available to everybody. Everybody's got Facebook on their phone or on their computer where they can hit that live button and go live. You don't have to be anything special. But because you are a person who makes the active choice to do it, by default, you become a celebrity. And it's really exciting and it's a lot of fun. And it allows you to sell more product because when they're following you, when you're showing up like the sales ladies on QVC and showing off your product, they're more bought into you. They're more bought into the product. And it also allows you to charge higher prices. Okay. So if you're trying to add that value, this is a way that you add the value, that they're buying it from you and you're a celebrity because you're that lady that goes live every week or that guy that goes live every week. It also, once you're comfortable with Facebook Lives, you can do Facebook Live sales. Facebook Live sales are awesome and amazing, and I love them. Facebook Live sale is basically you doing like a QVC sort of show from your couch. We have members who make more from their Facebook Live sales than do at their vendor shows. And consistently make more from Facebook Live sales than at vendor shows. And again, I'm not going to get into Facebook Live sales right now because you got to get comfortable with going live first. But we do have that full training on how to host a Facebook Live sale and get people to show up in Handmade Sellers Club. So ideally, it is great to get in the habit to go live every single week on your page. That would be the ideal situation. Now I'm seeing in the comments, people saying, I don't know what to talk about. And you might be freaking out even more saying, what do I talk about every week? How do I go live weekly and talk about my products? So I've got a really simple formula for this. What happened, what's happening, what's going to happen. What you made, what you're making, what you're going to make. That's pretty much it. So you can say, so last week, I showed you that I was making XYZ. Here's what I finished up last week. I love how these turned out. Here's some products that I made. I love how they turned out. Here's what I'm working on now. You can see it's half done. I'm working on, I'm like knitting in my mind here. I'm working on this. What do you think I should do? Should I use blue or yellow? I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. You guys let me know whether or not maybe I should replace the blue with yellow, like interacting with your audience, and then say, when this is done, I think what I'm going to do next week is XYZ, or I just got an order for 10 of these. So that's what I'm going to be making next week. So you can talk about not just the product, but what happened in your business. Like last week, I got all kinds of new products in. So I'm going to show you the new materials that I got in because I just want to show it off to you. Today, I was putting in an order for all these other things because I think you guys are really going to like it. And I should get those next week, and I'll show them on the video next week. So you're really just looking at like what happened in your business. What did you make in your business? What's going on in your business? What happened the previous week? What is happening right now? And what is going to happen in the next week? And if you do that every week on your lives, you'll get people showing up and asking questions, super invested in your business. Now, this isn't the only strategy for going live, but this is the easiest one because all you have to do is just sit down with a piece of paper. What happened, what's happening, what's going to happen, what I made, what I'm making, what I'm going to make, and just write that stuff down. And you've got your quote unquote script for your live. You don't have to go live for long. It could be a 10-minute live. I tend to go live for pretty long. My extravaganza party has been over 6 hours several times. But you can do a short 20 or 30-minute live, 10-minute live. Shorter than 10 minutes, it may not be worth it. But have product on hand, show off your product, talk about your product. This is what I made, this is what I'm making, this is what I'm going to make, and leave it at that, and then sign off. You will probably not have very many viewers when you first get started, and that's perfectly okay. You will get to the viewers, and a lot of people watch the replays. A lot of people watch the replays. So leaving those replays up, people will go back and watch it. And then they know, oh, shoot. Oh, she's always on Tuesday nights at 8:00. I got to remember to show up for that live next time because I want to ask her some questions about this or that, or I just want to see what she shows. A lot of people that are in Handmade Sellers Club that go live weekly have this core, almost like set of groupies that they're always on the live no matter what. And they're always commenting and they're always excited. And guess what? They buy. Even if you're not doing a live sale, if you're just showing off your product, you'll be surprised at how many sales you can actually make just going live and showing off your product. Just going on there and saying, hey, here's something that I made. Look at it. Here's the pockets. Here's the this and that. And you answer a couple of questions about it. And somebody's going to say, oh, I have to have that. So yeah, and we've had people that sell just as much in a regular live as they do in a live sale. So this is a great way to make money now, make money, without having to build a whole website, etc. You just hit that live, write down your answers, what happened, what's happening, what's going to happen, grab some products, set it in front of you, and hit that live button. And you're just going directly to the marketplace and showing them your product. Sandy says, when is the best time to go live? I work full time. So evenings usually work pretty well. If you can't do evenings, I would pick an evening of the week that you can. Friday and Saturday evenings usually suck. Sunday afternoon, evening is really great. If you go live earlier in the day, you may not have as many people on, but you'll still get people to watch the replay. So the best time to go live is the time that you can go live, because you will have those replays. Jen said, the first time I went live using the formula with product, I made $100. I love that so much. Lisa says, I work more that full time, so I go live Sunday afternoons. Yeah, I love Sunday afternoons, are a great time for lives. All right. Secret number 7, last one, guys. Show up and take action. There are a lot of people playing at business. There are a lot of people who make a product and then just declare, oh, I now have a business. And they're not putting in the work that is required to actually make money from that business. Now, I would love to tell you that, I have the secret to doing no work and making all the monies. If I had that secret, I would be going out and doing that secret myself. I can tell you that with Handmade Sellers Club, and some of our plans for 2025, and a lot of the tools and resources we already have there in Handmade Sellers Club, we can make this process so much easier for you, where it's kind of fill in the blanks instead of you coming up with post ideas on your own, knowing how to get people to show up to your lives, that sort of thing. I can give you a ton of shortcuts and ways to make this easier, but you have to show up and take action. If you're not going to show up and take action for your business, you're not going to see results. And the truth is most people do not show up and take action. They want to say they have a business. They want to complain about how many sales they're not making. But when it comes down to what is needed to actually make their business successful, they're not willing to put in that work. And that's why I created Handmade Sellers Club. It is for people that are ready to show up and take action. And we're going to support you in every way to show up and take action. So showing up and taking action is about making your business a priority. Now, is it your number one priority? Probably not. If you have a full-time job, that's going to take precedent. That's paying the bills for now. Family, obviously, my family takes priority over my business. But like my business is number 3 on that list. For me, it's number 2, like family first, and then what I do in my business. And I show up to work every day. I have an office outside of the home now. It used to be in the home, but I would go into that office and I would sit down and put in the work. Because making money from that business was a priority, it was a priority on my to-do list. If you're constantly saying, oh, I didn't have time this week to make my posts, and I didn't bother to take any pictures of this product that I made, and I really don't want to have to do all of that. I don't want to have to watch the training videos. It just seems like a lot of time, and I don't have time. I don't have time for any of this stuff. You're going to have to find the time. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where you think you're going to be able to build a business if you literally don't put in any time to build that business. You have to find the time. You have to set aside some things that you are doing that are not growing your business. Yes, do you have to have downtime? Absolutely, for sure. But if you're prioritizing fun and downtime over your business, then your business isn't going to grow. Now, if you are, and I've had this from time to time, people say, I absolutely don't have a single minute in my day. I'm taking care of my mom. I've got the kids. I've got a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs, and there is no time. And then I tell them, then now is not the time for you to have a business. because you're not going to be able to make this grow by just declaring that you have a business and hoping that you make sales. You've got to have some time. It doesn't have to be a ton of time. You can make progress in even 15 minutes a day. You can make progress. The more time you put into it, the faster you can make that progress. But you've got to be able to set aside that time, either getting up earlier, going to bed a little bit later, carving out some time, asking the hubby to watch the kids, like, hey, for an hour each night, I need you to watch the kids because that is mama's time. And I need to work on my business because this is a priority for me. You need to focus on building your business. Stop chasing bright, shiny objects. Stop looking at the new technology here and there. Stop saying, oh, look at this new craft that I could be making. All of that is great. If you want to have a hobby that you do in your spare time where you play around with different crafts, great. But if you're constantly changing your product and constantly changing what platform you're using and constantly like switching out websites and all of that stuff, you're going to just be flailing around doing a lot of work without getting anywhere. The more focused you are on the step-by-step actions you need to take in order to get your business moving forward, the more results you're going to see. The more scattered you are, the less results you're going to see. If you need to do to-do lists, if you again need to maybe turn the TV off, if you need to have a mantra that you're quoting to yourself every time you see a new video on YouTube showing you how to do something totally different, focus. Because if you don't focus on selling the product that you have now and perfect and mastering the platforms that you need to sell it on, then you're never going to move forward. You're never going to move forward, and you're still just going to be treading water a year from now. I don't want to be at the end of 2025 and you say, you know what? All of this stuff I knew I needed to do, but I just didn't make it a priority and I didn't focus on it. Have a schedule if you need one for your day-to-day. This is something that we're going to be adding to HSC, is an actual what your daily, weekly, monthly schedule should look like. So every day you should be doing these things. At least once a week you should be doing these things. And then once a month you should be doing these things. So we're going to get you through the month. And if I do these things and I'm consistent, and of course they include posting, they include going Facebook Live, they include all of the things that I've talked about earlier. But having that schedule to keep you on track, knowing what you need to do, and that if you're checking off those boxes, you are moving forward. It's going to help you during those times where things might be a little dry. Sometimes it's difficult when you've been going the wrong direction for a long time and you turn around and start going in the right direction. I call it like trying to turn the Titanic. The Titanic moves slow. You've got a lot of momentum going in the wrong direction. And when you first start to make those changes, you may not see immediate results. Some people do see results very, very quickly. Other people, it takes time for that ship to turn. And if you have a schedule and you know that you're checking your items off your box, and these are things that are going to make you move forward, excuse me, then you can put your faith in that system and that you are showing up and that you are making your business priority and you are getting things done. And that, you may not be able to see it yet, but the results are moving your way because you're using a proven system. Take money actions every day. Take actions in your business that are moving you towards making money every day, making sales. So again, this does not mean fiddling around with a website when you don't even have a social media tribe. You haven't even built that relationship. You don't have anybody that can even see the website, right? So we want to focus on the stuff that's going to make money immediately. We have in Handmade Sellers Club, I have a program called the Quick Cash Method, and that's a way for getting sales fast. And a lot of our members do Quick Cash Method activities every day, or at least 5 days a week. Like Monday through Friday, they're doing Quick Cash activities so that they're constantly getting visible and they're getting people reaching out to them to make purchases. And that money is what helps the business to grow and gives you that momentum to move forward. And then, of course, join Handmade Sellers Club, because we're going to give you the shortcuts. We're going to give you the community support. We're going to give you the tools that you need to take those actions every day, and you know that the actions you're taking you are actually moving you in the right direction and that they are money making actions versus I'm just always busy in my business, but nothing ever seems to happen, right? Busy is not the same as profitable. So we want you to be taking action, but not just for the sake of taking action, actions that are going to make you money. And Handmade Sellers Club lays out the system for doing that. So when you become a Handmade Sellers Club member, you get my super seller system, which takes you all the way through, picking a unique product focus, giving your Facebook page a makeover, how to attract followers to your page. We talk about the do's and don'ts of what to post to your page in the super seller system. We teach you how to go Facebook Live with confidence. You get the quick cash method. We teach you how to do Facebook Live sales. We also teach you how to do Facebook Reels. It is all in the super seller system, laid out step by step, so you know exactly what to do, including the tools and the resources you need to get it done. You also get my Prompts for Profits calendar, which is a monthly calendar that we post every single month that tells you what to post to your Facebook page. So today's going to be a behind the scenes, show your workspace, right? I don't just say post behind the scenes post. I give you a very specific prompt to follow where you're showing your workspace. I prompt you on what sort of picture to use and then how to talk about that picture in the text. And these prompts are designed to pull people into your world, to build that relationship that know, like, and trust, and stoke desire for your product. These prompts are designed for sales, right? So they may not, unlike the quick cash method where we can get sales for you pretty quickly, you have to be consistent and show up consistently with the Prompts for Profits calendar to see that change. And that's where we're turning the Titanic. We're getting the algorithm in your favor. So I would post a calendar every single month, keep it fresh, to keep it new, so that you are consistently showing up in interesting ways to your audience. And that's how we build those relationships. Essential to follow the Prompts for Profits calendar. Because without it, even if you build a following, you're invisible if you're not posting. 6-week fast track action plan. We're going to show you week by week which actions you should be taking in your business, which trainings to watch and put into action. We are going to be overhauling this in 2025. The 6-week fast track action plan is good now. It's going to be even better in 2025. But you're going to come in the Handmade Sellers Club, and there's so much value in Handmade Sellers Club. It's easy to get lost. I don't want you to get lost. You download the 6-week fast track action plan and you follow it. You do step 1, then you do step 2. That is the fastest way that we have seen people get results. If you go into the program and just kind of willy-nilly watch this and watch that, and you don't do it in order, it's going to be so much longer before you see results. And what tends to happen is people skip things like the unique product focus. And they're like, hey, I'm posting from the Profits calendar, and I gave my page a makeover, and I attracted all these followers, but I'm not making sales. And I look at their page, and they never picked the unique product focus. So you want to do it in order so you're not wasting time and wasting energy, and you don't have your ducks in a row in the first place. We do weekly live coaching. I do 3 a month. My daughter Willow does the 4th week of the month, where we get on, we answer your questions. So if you're like, hey, we just went through the PFP, and I don't understand this sort of post, or I'm not quite sure what my unique product focus is. Beyond the weekly live coaching, we also have the supportive community. So if you need help immediately, like right now, you can post in the group. You can get feedback. You could say, hey, I took these pictures. What do you guys think? I just uploaded a new cover photo. Would love some feedback on it. I just had somebody reach out with a weird question. How should I respond? You're not left alone. And there are people in this community that have been with me and doing what I teach for the last 4 to 5 years. And they're super knowledgeable, super helpful. I'm in the community too. My team is in the community. And we make sure that you get the help and support that you need, so you're not left on your own. And so much more. Like I could go into, there's so much more. There's so many more bonuses that you get beyond this, but this is the core of it, right? This is to get you to sales quickly. When you're ready to start a website, we have training on that. When you're ready to go to Instagram, we have training on that. When the pricing masterclass is in there as well. So we have a bunch of auxiliary training that helps support you as a handmade seller to grow your business, make sales, and be confident in the actions that you're taking online, that they're going to pay off for you. And we've done this with many, many, many sellers over the years. We had Kathy who joined the program. She had actually kicked the can down the road. She knew about the program, drug her feet to join. She told me later, she said in 2 years, she had only made 2 sales on her website. After applying the strategies that she learned from the program that is in HSC, the super seller system, she went to $4,800 in the month of August. This is like 2 years ago. And she made $5,000 in September and $12,000 in sales that December. She was working 3 jobs. She was able to quit 2 of her jobs. She kept the 1 part-time job. She was doing weekend shows all the time. She was able to drop the weekend shows to just the ones that she wanted to do. And she was making good money selling online. This is Amy and Jody. When they came, they were posting twice a day to their Facebook page, and they were putting in the work, and they were getting a little bit in results. They were making some sales. They were making roughly $200 to $300 in sales a month. They came to me in the month of March. They said our goal was that by December, we were hopefully making $500 a month. Their first week applying these strategies, they went from, you can see the graphic on the left, they made $234 the entire month of, I think that was February. In March, they made $1,000, and they went on to continue to use these strategies. And a lot of it was what was in the Prompts for Profits calendar. See, they were posting every day, twice a day, but the way they were posting was not getting them very many sales. Just by tweaking what they posted, they went from $200 a month to $1,000 the next month, and then they were consistently making $2,000, $3,000 to $4,000 per month. They do Facebook Live sales, they do weekly lives, and they bring in a lot of money into their business that they thought it was going to take years and years and years to accomplish. All they needed was a small change in strategy. So if you would like to join Handmade Sellers Club, it's only $27 a month. It is the most affordable and I think still the best program out there for handmade sellers to get people results quickly. This is a low tech solution. There is a time and a place for tech in your business, but usually not when you're first starting out. You don't need to be overwhelmed by the tech. These are simple and easy to implement strategies to get the wheels rolling so that you can add those higher tech solutions in the future and know that that work you're putting in there is going to pay off because you're already getting sales into your business. So I'm going to grab the link for Handmade Sellers Club right now. I'm going to drop that into the comments. And I'm going to see if I can pin it. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pin it in the comments as well. If anybody has any questions about Handmade Sellers Club, about any of the training I just went through, anything, now is your time for Q&A. Again, 2-week trial, only $7. If you don't like it within that 2-week trial, you can cancel. You can also cancel anytime if you're a member for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. I hope that the time that you spend in Handmade Sellers Club is helpful and profitable to you. And that's how I designed it. I'm obsessed with getting the best results possible as quickly as possible and as easy as possible. And that's our focus in 2025 is making Handmade Sellers Club easier and more fun. So quicker results, more fun while you're doing it. And we're a great community. We have fun already, but like, how can we add even more of that to where you are feeling supported as a handmade seller and not like, you're just out there doing it on your own. Let's see. Pam says, I took notes, but how do we get the doc? So pay attention to my page. I am going to, I have the doc is all ready, but I want to link the replay to that doc. So I'm going to make a post on my page and say, hands up if you want the link to the doc. And then everybody who does hands up, I'll send you the doc. Vanessa says, is there a replay of this? Yes, it will be available immediately as soon as this is done. you'll be able to watch the replay. That's the beauty of Facebook Live. You don't have to upload anything or do anything crazy. The replay is right there. Let's see. Jen said, best thing I ever did for my business was to join HSC. I love that, Jen. And Jen's been a great member and helpful to other members in the community, and actually came to one of my retreats as well. Judy says, it's a great program. I'm starting my 4th year with Allie. You have been around for a while, Judy. You have. Lisa says, can't recommend it enough. Dawn says, HSC is so worth it. Pam says, this was fantastic. Pamela said, this was fantastic. And thank you, Michelle King, for sharing this with me. Michelle King has been an amazing member of HSC for probably at least 4 years, if not 5 years. She's been with us for a long time. She also hosts our Small Shop Discovery giveaway parties, which you can find out more about. I don't want to get too far into Small Shop Discovery, but it's a perk you get when you become an HSC member. We actually have a separate entity called Small Shop Discovery where we promote your products for you. And Michelle is a fantastic host over there on Small Shop Discovery. Let's see and make sure I don't miss any questions here. Sandy says, shipping, what does everyone do? Charge a base rate, charge a set rate? So I am going to be doing a workshop on shipping here on the Facebook page for free. But I don't know exactly what month I will be doing that. I think I had it planned for some time in the spring. So there's a lot of things that go into choosing how you're going to ship. And a lot of it has to do with the product that you have. It's great to do a base rate if you have a small product and a consistently small product. We had small products and we also had large products. So we had to do calculated shipping. But if you can do a, $5 shipping, no matter the order size, because you're selling maybe earrings or something really lightweight like that, that's a great way to do it. It keeps it simple for everybody. But if you have something a little bit heavier, like soap, you're going to have to do some weighing and some kind of pretend shipments to different places in the country to see if a base rate makes sense for you. And whether or not you want to kind of maybe build that into the product. Some people offer free shipping, but they build the shipping price into the product. So it's different for each type of product. Jane said, is this strategy something that would work for photographers too? I don't necessarily make products, but I do wall art and prints. We have had photographers and artists who do wall art and prints. Yes. And it has worked for them. Some of it is a little bit different. So, you're not necessarily going to be sitting down and showing them a work in progress, right? Because, you took a picture, there's not a lot of work in progress, but you would kind of just make some small adjustments. Like work in progress could be a picture of you out taking pictures, or a selfie of you taking pictures where you talk about, like, I just took the most amazing picture. I can't wait to share it with you guys. But you have stories for your products. You can show your products up on walls. You can, if you have, prints that are smaller, or like greeting cards. I really like greeting cards for this sort of thing. One of my clients does quilling, and she started doing greeting cards, not quilled greeting cards, but greeting cards that are prints of her quilled pieces. And that's worked out well for her, especially for pieces that she sells a lot of and can't keep up with reproducing them. For the originals, people like to buy the prints. So yeah, absolutely. This can totally work for your business. There's just some times where you'll read the prompt and you'll say, yeah, my business is a little bit different. The good thing about you though, is you are a lot more scalable. Where I talked about the pricing issue of you are the bottleneck because you're making a handmade product. You don't have that problem as much. So you can be more flexible on your pricing. Your prices can be lower. I'm not saying they should be, but you've got a lot more wiggle room there because you're not hand producing each and every product, especially if you're doing like print on demand. Pamela says, thank you. You're very welcome. I see people raising their hand in the comments. I'm going to make a separate post. I'm going to make a separate post for that document on my Facebook page. So make sure you're following my Facebook page. Follow the Facebook page. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to get that link in the document, and then I'm going to ask you guys to raise your hand, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll give you the link. because Allie's a little bit tired. I've been here since 9 o'clock this morning. I'm ready to go. Deborah says, thank you. Great info. Hope to join soon. I hope to see you as well. That $7 2-week trial offer is always available. If I was if I there are times that I have limited quantity offers, but I don't usually say sign up now or you're going to miss it forever. There may come a time where we cap how many people can join Handmade Sellers Club. We're not there right now. So that 2-week trial for $7, that is an offer we always have available. Sometimes we do other offers. Those are limited time and they expire, but the 2-week trial for $7 always available. So when you're ready, we're ready for you. You can jump in anytime that you like. I like the new year for jumping in on stuff like this. Like I said, it's new year, fresh slate, like new goals, new energy into your business. It's a great time to join. Judy said, I came in late. Sorry, excuse me. What is the doc? I came in late, Allie. What is the doc? So the doc is, I'm going to remove that. So the doc is just the notes from tonight. It's really just kind of like what was on the slides. And so it's better to have the doc and have watched this because you're going to like have a better frame of reference for what's in there. That's why I want to link this live into the doc so that somebody who maybe just gets a hold of the doc has the ability to go and watch the business too. Crochet Gal says, how do I start a business page? So while I do have a lot of how-to information, we actually don't include that in the training because it's so super simple, Crochet Gal. It is something that we're planning on doing a lot more blog posts in the future. And it's something we will add to a blog post. Actually, do I have the link for it? Let me see. How do I find that quickly? See if I can find this. Other links. Was it here? Because I get that question a lot. And so I did have a real quick video on how to do that, but I don't have the link on me. So I would say the best, and in the future, when we get the blog post done on it, I will have the link like saved in a way. I've got a way to save links that I'm not using right now, 2025. All kinds of new stuff coming in 2025. But for now, it's just say quick Google. It takes less than 2 minutes to create a Facebook page. If you're on desktop and you look at the right-hand side of your page, there's usually a menu button and it says create, and then you just choose page. It doesn't say page there right now. Because I'm signed in as my page. If you're on your personal account, you can create a page from your personal account. You hit that menu on the right-hand side, and then you just follow the prompts. And then as far as your cover photo and your profile pic, put anything up right now, and then watch the training, the Facebook page makeover training on strategically what's the best thing to have on your cover photo, what's the best thing to have in your profile pic, and what's the best name to give your page. I give all of that in Handmade Sellers Club. The only thing is that you can only change your name once every 60 days. So once you create a page, you can rename it. But if you rename it and then want to rename it again, you got to wait 60 days. So just be aware of that and don't rename it until you've watched my makeover training. All right. I'm getting lots of thanks. You're very welcome. Chrissy says this has been helpful. Getting lots of thanks. You're very welcome. Thank you guys, everybody, for showing up. I think we had over 70 people at some point in time. Judy says, okay, I will watch the replay. Thanks. All right. It will be there. Michelle says best to choose a focus before creating a page. Yeah. In an ideal world, most people already have a page, and that's perfectly fine. And you can start even using the Prompts for Profits calendar before you go through. In fact, you should before you do the makeover training. But yeah, in an ideal world, pick your product focus, watch the makeover training, and just name your page the right thing in the first place. All right. Michelle says, thank you. Very helpful. Crochet Girl says, this sounds like it's going to be so much fun. Thank you. You are very welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming here tonight. This webinar was a little bit longer than anticipated. We do plan to do a monthly webinar moving forward. They're going to be shorter ones and covering some of the basics that we get a lot of questions, like shipping, you know, how to ship products, how to, what else do we have in there? What's the difference between the social media platforms? What's the difference between the different website platforms and which ones make the most sense for handmade sellers? So I've got a full year's worth of webinars planned for this next year. We hadn't been doing free live trainings on the page in a while, but we've freed up some time to be able to do that. We're also going to be doing a monthly Q&A call, so you can come on. I'll have some questions on hand to start, but you can come on and just ask me any questions that you have about your business or whatever it is, within reason for your handmade business. And then we're also going to do a monthly, like a hot seat call, where we're going to bring on a Handmade Sellers Club member on the page who wants some one-on-one coaching and kind of wants to talk through their product. Either that, or we'll do like some Facebook page reviews, but we're going to do some real life coaching and helping handmade sellers make the changes and improvements that they need, so that they can start making the sales that they deserve. And it's really great because you kind of get a sense of the training, and it brings the training alive even more because you're seeing the examples in real time as we're going through the conversation. So we're looking at 3 lives a month on the page is the plan going into 2025. So you're going to see a lot more of this mug. Reminder that we do have the extravaganza is this next Friday, not this Friday, December 27th. It's my birthday, and you guys are invited to my birthday. I'll be going live at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing giveaways. I'm going to be doing Q&A. I'm bringing on guests. We're going to be talking about the plans for 2025, and I'm going to be revealing some things for those that are Handmade Sellers Club members, and I've got things in the works. All of that's going to be on during the extravaganza. So I'm going to drop the link for that. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. Pop in. It's a Friday night. But Friday night, I don't do anything special on Friday nights. Like, some of us don't have a social life. So if you don't have a social life and you want to hang out with me on Friday night, then you are invited to my birthday party, the extravaganza event. Sonia's is the 26th. Yeah, so we're the Christmas babies. My oldest is December 23rd. So that's always a lot of fun. But yeah, 27th is my birthday, so we're going to celebrate my birthday and ring in the new year. We tend to go for 6 hours. Like I said, you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but also head cold and all that, it might be a little bit shorter. So if you are going to pop in, come earlier versus later, just in case we have to end it a little bit earlier. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And I will see Handmade Sellers Club. We're going back to our weekly calls in January. We're taking some time off for the rest of December. Enjoy your holidays. Take a rest. Enjoy your family. Take some time to sit and meditate about your business. Think about your goals, and go through this training and start to prioritize what steps you're going to take in your business to make 2025 the best year of your business. I'll see you guys on the 27th. Bye.